I think we strike immediately at the 10.
Oh, here we are. Our Vietnam. Our Gallipoli.
Buckle up, viewership. It's going to be a rough ride as once again the Doctor and the Bard go hard and fast right into the Demes Northlands.
And for absolutely no reason, the Doctor is saving. I don't want to talk about it because one does not show cowardice while serving the God Emperor's will.
Exactly. But this is our Vietnam, Doc. Please do not watch the first couple episodes of this campaign because it's rough. But here we go. Let's redeem our heresy. Let's cleanse our heresy. So if I remember,
this is a big level.
Yep.
And we got to at least strike hard with Honor Guard against one of their bases.
Yep. I think we got to just pick a location,
move everyone there, and then start building up other stuff because we need to be built up for a second. But at least with that extra 1,000 starting requisition, we'll be in a great position to just get off the bat.
Yeah, let's go for it. So,
right.
Oh my god,
sounds like a good. No, we'll head there in the first instance.
Go for it. Right, let's build up quick.
Let's build. So, Scout Marines, I think. Servitor, you can build that.
More servitors.
What? I want to get Scout Marine first. You've got to start have something for taking points, and everyone else is off fighting. At least Danitar can get real far. Actually, I'm gonna teleport with him and Thule actually just to cover a bit of extra ground.
This is a very precarious situation we're in viewership because if we don't crack this, then they just keep reinforcing it.
Dude, yeah.
I don't think they'll be that close to us.
But we can check.
Thule should be very quick because we gave him the upgrade to
he's
make
got
him
the speed,
run
he's got the
faster.
teleporter. He's in a lot of ways he's our scout unit, bafflingly. Right, Dimitar, I'm going to actually use you.
Danitar!
Sorry,
Danitar, man!
I'm stuck in Slavic mode now! Yeah, Brother Demetrius,
USSR, the USSR, circa 1952.
Yep.
Stuck in Slavic. There's been a lot of communist chat on this
I blame the
last couple episodes of the I blame the Tau, but we're past that now. This is still Eldar, although maybe sometime before we see them.
Hopefully, yeah. Emperor be willing.
Position secure.
Oh, their voice is weird. I don't like that.
Oh, the Scout Marines are kind of like prepubescent, which I guess is to emphasize
but they're
youth,
neophytes, aren't they? So it technically does make sense.
Yeah, the Scout Marines are like not yet fully fledged Astartes. They're kind of like on their way to getting there, but they're not quite Astartes yet. Oh, here we go. Contact.
Right.
That's Thule.
What would you have me do?
So they're clearly up here.
Oh yes, there we go. That's got to be close.
Be up this way. I barely even looked at the actual map yet so far. This is all a bit looking at the mini-map. Right, Hellfire Dreadnought, where are you? Break that vehicle for me. Regular Dreadnought, also break that vehicle. God, there's a lot of shit here already.
There we go. That's where we get. Excellent. We got lucky here. We found them early.
We have.
The perdiferous and treacherous Eldar. Hide from this, motherfucker.
That's kind of one of the things I always enjoyed when I did play as Eldar, was being a fucking jeb and just like fannying around in Webwaygate. Because you can fucking teleport vehicles, like buildings and stuff. It's a lot of fun. Just you can be an asshole. It was great.
I like that, again, the trickery is well reflected in the fact that this is how Eldar fight.
It's a bit of a shame that obviously, so we, the viewers may not necessarily, I don't know if this is obvious or not, but there was a lot of umming and erring about what faction are we going to play as. Like, how are we going to do this? Because obviously, the issue is you've got, like, what, 6, 7 factions? And we have to commit to one for fucking 30 episodes. And there was a lot of umming and ahhing about who we're going to go for. And I think we were thinking about Tau until pretty late in the day.
Yeah, I think we actually intended to play as Tau because, like,
but then we were like, actually, you know what? I'd started reading a load of the Horus Heresy books, and I was like, actually, you know what? My Space Marines knowledge has got pretty good of late, and then obviously Marines are what you know, so we're like, you know what, we'll go for that and talk about other ones as they become relevant. But it was a close-run thing, and we did. There was a significant amount of thought definitely that went into who we played as.
I don't regret our choice, but if you tell us in the comments, viewership, is there a faction you would rather we had played as?
I don't regret our choice, but obviously it is a bit problematic either way that we are locked into the same choice for the 30 episodes or whatever.
Yeah, quite a long way. Tell us in the comments, viewership, would you rather we'd been Tau? Would you rather we'd been Eldar? Like, tell us in the comments, like, if you wish you'd seen a different 40k faction played through for the 30 episodes
I've
of the series.
toyed with the idea. I'm going to float this for the viewers, see what they think, of So you've never played Soulstorm?
I have never played Soulstorm.
So what if we flip the cards and you played through Soulstorm with me watching as one of the races you've never played? Based on what you've said, potentially Dark Eldar.
Oh, dang. I mean, I'd play Dark Eldar or Sisters of Battle in a heartbeat.
Basically, either of the ones that you... And you've got no experience with them, mechanically speaking, like in terms of gameplay. That could be potentially quite interesting. So let us know, viewers, if that is something of interest.
I mean, Doctor, you had my curiosity. Now you have my attention.
Yeah, but then we have the actual issue of how to fucking get you to do it. And I'm really concerned that the best way would be to have my computer play Soulstorm and you remote in and drive. And the fact is, it's a case of, if that's your answer, I worry that your question is wrong. Basically, is the concern.
Let us know in the comments, viewership. Would you like to see the Bard try and do this in the reverse and like play a completely new Dawn of War game? You tell us in the comments. Like, maybe we'd find more 40k chat. We'd soon discover
I think it wouldn't be soon. I think you and I would probably do something else before doing that. This would be a future project. But as a future project, if people are interested, do drop a comment. Just know that it's something we're considering. The more people say, hey, I really want to do this thing, it'll slide up that priority list.
I'm almost certain their base is like up that canyon.
Me too. There's so much resistance here. And there's a fucking soul shrine. They don't just put those near webway gates.
The soul shrine, of course, that's
and reveal the Eldar base. Go.
I feel like the range of this teleporter is greater than the range on the Terminator teleporter.
Actually, I'm concerned this isn't their base.
Oh no, it's there. It's the left. To Thule's right, our left. Like, if you get him to move... Yeah. Trust me, move him. Wait for it.
Hey!
There we go.
God, we've been fortunate with this one. Had I gone around the right-hand side of the map, the different story would have been told in the annals of the chapter, but...
oh, yes, it would. I think we probably got it now, Doctor. We just got to see out the Eldar Stronghold mission is good because other races pop up and it gives us a nice kind of retrospective to speak about them. That's
actually a really cool one to end on. And I'm kind of glad that we could also, redeem the site of our greatest defeat.
Where we
the
said
Demes Northlands. And boy, have we actually cut through Demes
like we must have sent like 400 Marines to their deaths.
And now we cut through it like butter. Beautiful.
Yeah, with like five guys.
You know why? Because now we have the God Emperor with us, is why.
You're goddamn right.
Oh, I really hope we Brother Danatar's brother. Right.
Demetrius.
No, it's not Danatar and Demetrius. Oh, God. Yeah, I think that's it. Danatar and Dimitar. I think they are.
It's an interesting naming convention for like Space Marines because, like, obviously they're based mostly on like medieval knights, okay? Yeah. And there were lots of medieval knights who were Polish and who were like Eastern European and Slavic.
Hussars,
yeah, precisely. So
apparently that's
many
bollocks,
of them
though,
have very Slavic names.
Have you heard of like the winged hussars?
Oh yeah,
and apparently a lot of that's not really true.
Oh,
about them like making a horrifying screaming sound.
Oh, okay. Like I thought you were going to tell me that, like, the very elaborate dressage that they wore on the backs of their horses.
Oh no, they were great fighters and great equestrians. But it was more the idea that they had these like wings that mount onto their shoulders, and the idea was like they have holes in them that as you like gallop will basically scream and scare people. Is the story that's always told with the winged hussars, that it basically makes like a fluting screaming sound, so you just hear literally like the shrieks of the damned. You look round and there's some fucking well-trained cavalrymen coming down on you. Not true, probably, but what is probably true is that these wing things that they had on their backs basically clattered around a lot, which scared the shit out of enemy horses.
I know I've seen like it was almost like a plumage, but for the saddle of your horse. Yeah. It was like a mini standard that was mounted to the rear of your saddle, and it streamed in the wind like these glorious like plumes and feathers. And
they
stuff
certainly
that,
looked very
streamed out behind the horse.
Yeah. I think you saw that with me because I think that's at the Royal Armouries Museum here in Leeds.
Yeah, I've seen something similar there. Actually,
remains one of my favourite museums. Because
it's a tremendous museum.
It literally just goes through like arms and armour from literally like the earliest stone like tools through to like modern firearms.
It's kind of appalling in a way, like how sophisticated we've become at exterminating other human beings.
We put a lot of effort into that, yeah. But that museum still has one of my favourites things where you kind of come around a blind corner, and then there's suddenly a model of a full-size like war elephant in armor with like things on its back, like people on its back and stuff like that, and it gives you a brilliant idea of what it must have been like to see a war elephant if you didn't know what an elephant was, and then you just be like, oh, fuckity fuck, because it's massive.
Even facing heavy cavalry was like unheard of. Like heavy cavalry dominated medieval battlefields for like hundreds of years because there was no way to stop armored men on armored horses. Like what the hell could you do? I don't know if like they do it at like football matches and rugby matches, like large sporting events here in the United Kingdom, like where they have mounted police on horses. And even just like being near these things is unsettling because like that horse could kick me and I'd be dead.
Yeah, you do often forget until you see him up close how tall a man on a horse is.
Oh, it's
like they tower over people.
It's truly frightening. And like, if I'm a man on the ground, like if I'm a peasant levy, like I have like 3 days of training, and maybe if I'm lucky, a sharp stick with some metal on the end of it. This is basically the equivalent of like a man with a single shot rifle facing down a battle tank. That's what it. How you manage to maintain morale like with peasant levies when they were charged by heavy horse, I don't know how any of these men stood and fought their ground.
I think that's just, by and large, bravery. They didn't. They just relied on the fact that there weren't many like units of heavy cavalry around because most of these are individually trained knights. They don't work as a military unit because partly because standing armies weren't a thing, but also because there's like 100 of them in the fucking kingdom or whatever.
Yeah, I know in like British military history, like a big deal has been made several times by various British monarchs about the ability of nobles to raise their own militia. Because like if you're a noble who can raise your own militia, you just ask all of your buddies who are all heavily armored horsemen to start a rebellion. And
rebellion time with the lads.
Yeah, exactly. And if you're the king, it's problematic that all of your noblemen are guys, occasionally women, but mostly men, like who had lots of heavy horsemen that they could call up as their drinking buddies and go to war with you.
I mean, no difference to, you're the government, but all your pals own the banks.
I like that we're back to capitalism.
And with that, I'm going to call a quick break because I love capitalism and definitely don't want to go on a huge rant. So I'm going to call a quick break for refilling of drinks before the final push against the Eldar.
And in the spirit of capitalism viewership, in order to grow the wealth and capitalist enterprise of this channel and to stamp out the pediferous communism of the Tau,
I do not approve of this message, but go on.
What we want you to do is like, share, and subscribe. So, like, send it as far as you can. Thank you for your patronage. The Doctor and I will be back momentarily.
Consume some things. Yep, all good.
Consume some things. Like spend your money, preferably on this channel.
Oh
and we'll
God,
see you soon.
I feel sullied and defiled. Right.
That's what all my lovers tell me.
Oh my God. What you've actually done me in. Oh, right. We'll be back. I was just seeing, because I noticed we only really have 2 slots left for Honor Guard. I was like, what are the remaining bits of Honor Guard? And it's a single Marine, not quite worth it, and a Land Speeder.
I laugh in the face of Land Speeders.
It's so funny seeing it like actually being crewed by 2 Astartes, because first off, they look hilariously massive inside that thing with the fucking shoulder plates. But also, it's like, those 2 Marines would be much better served on foot. Outside of the Land Speeder.
Just doing anything else but flying that useless vehicle. They've kind of fallen out of favour, I think. Like, I think in an age where skimmer vehicles, like, post Star Wars, skimmers were just cool. Like, no one really plays with them or buys them anymore.
I was thinking, so as I was saying, I've been reading Galaxy in Flames at the moment, the third.
It's a good one.
Yeah, it's actually not bad. Like, for the first time, we've come across an enemy where, like, the author isn't immediately just like, but this was no match for the armoured form of the Astartes because their guns could only scrape the armour, with the fucking war singers on Istvan.
Oh, yeah.
We're just like, I sing a song and it rips you apart.
Yeah, that'll change.
Yeah, figured.
It's all from Loken's perspective, isn't it? Or
mostly
lot
from
of it is. Perspective.
The stuff I'm at the moment is actually following Emperor's Children. What's his name? Not the Sword Man.
Saul Tarvitz?
Yes, that's the one. The other one that isn't the swordy bloke, who's definitely not going to become evil. Nothing about the way Lucius the Swordsman is setting up to be evil at all.
Yeah, his name is Lucius.
It's like everyone has evil names, and it's like, obviously, I know where this is all going, because I know, like, in the 41st millennium, you know, Abaddon is still kicking around as War Master of Chaos, Loken is not. So I can see how this is all going to go.
Well, this is the thing, like, we don't know what happens to Loken. So, like, obviously the Horus Heresy, it's not completed yet, so his fate, like, as the current canon that I'm aware of, we don't know what happens to him.
Yeah, they've changed the name recently, like, so the new canon is called The Siege of Terror, but is still Heresy era.
But it's wrapping up. I want to read some of the Siege of Terror stuff, actually.
I was still reading, when I started reading this and knowing, you know, that fucking Horus Rising was in, like, 2004, I was shocked that there still isn't a book that actually, you know, covers Horus's, like, duel with the Emperor at the end.
Oh, it becomes like it became a bit contrived. Originally, they conceived like 10 novels. Like Dan Abnett was going to write the first one and the end one, and then the first like 4 or 5 came out, and they were like, "So this is making a lot of money."
Yeah. Well, so you said, like, the first ones are all well received. Like the Loken trilogy, I've always heard good things about, which is why it's the one I kind of started with. And as you say, like Fulgrim and the one that comes before it.
The Flight of the Eisenstein is
both
good.
Supposed to be decent, and then it's not long.
Do you know the plot? Do you know the plot of the Flight of the Eisenstein?
Not exactly. No. So is that the other Istvan one, or?
Sort of. So like,
there's
stuff. I won't spoil it, but stuff happens on Istvan, and there's a ship.
No, all these references on the wiki to the Istvan 3 atrocity.
Yeah. Well, stuff happens on Istvan, and then there's one ship. Of all the many ships in orbit that remains loyal to the Emperor, because Horus does things to ensure that like most who opposes like his dominion of the Imperium are on the ground at Istvan, and he does.
Yeah,
things.
See, I know there's 2 Istvan things. There's
the drop site massacre,
and there's virus
the
bombing.
Istvan 3 atrocity.
Yeah, which are both different things, and I think I'm about to learn about both of them. And I don't think it's going to go well for Loken. I'll put it that way.
There's one ship in orbit that recognizes what's about to happen and breaks formation to carry word back to Terra that Horus has betrayed us.
Everything's like closed at the moment, yeah.
Correct, and obviously Horus throws everything at this ship to try and stop it making it back to Terra.
Yeah, it's the whole Pillar of Autumn thing, basically.
Exactly.
Because the only ship that escaped reach.
Yeah, basically, the Pillar of Autumn came much later than this like particular. Or did it? No, it didn't actually.
No, actually, because that was 2001. So it depends when they actually planned this versus the books came out. But Halo was 2001.
It's somewhat ambiguous when what would come first, then, because I know
this
is
the thing. Like, I can imagine that they've planned out the broad strokes of the Horus Heresy for fucking decades. But
it's really cool actually. They have
obviously we know the broad
meetings.
Strokes.
They have writers' meetings where they get like 10 or 12 guys in a room and they sit down and talk about who's going to write what and like what plot points.
See, I always think that must be interesting. Like it's notable, like in the Loken trilogy, that it's 3 different writers, but obviously they're all aware not just of the broad strokes of one another's works, but they're clearly specifically know what's going to be in the previous ones and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, they do get in a room and talk about it, but it's very top secret. Like, even the Games Workshop guys who report on this, they've got a whole media arm now, which is kind of cool. But like, even their media guys are like, so we have legitimately, these guys are in the building today talking about this. We have no idea what they're talking about.
Someone I follow on Twitter, I've followed him for ages because he's quite funny, like comedian/writer. What?
I would just clear my throat.
Oh, sorry, I thought you said hang on a minute. Yeah, he's like a comedian/writer, and basically he's a massive 40k nerd. And in the last couple of years, he's been hired as a writer with Games Workshop. And he has a book which is unfortunate. Right, this is really fucking annoying. They did like a special edition of the book that cost 70 quid. That was like limited release. And then they're like, and that was earlier this year. And then they're like, oh yeah, full release will be in like February 2022. But apparently it's legitimately...
Which book is it?
It's called Ghazghkull Thraka, Prophet of the Wa.
Oh, we spoke about Ghazghkull on the Orc episode. He's named after Thatcher.
Yes. Yeah, because it's Magra Thraka Ghazghkull.
I don't think we spoke about this before, but like I did some more reading about him, and like he's got an absurd timeline, such that he invents orcish time travel, goes back in time, kills his younger self, so that he can make a bigger army in the past. It's fucking ludicrous.
But yeah, the guy, like, apparently this book that is due to come out is legitimately great, and apparently this guy, which I can believe because I really like his writing style, like generally, apparently he has absolutely nailed writing orcs.
Good.
And I've read some of it, he's done some really good, like, very like genuinely moving Necron stuff.
Okay.
So I'm excited for that one. But yeah, I mean, I say there was like a special edition that cost £70. It is really cool. Like it's got like a metal cover on the front, which is like 3D and has like Ghazghkull's face coming out of the page.
That's cool.
And all of the pages are bright green because
we'll get a chance to discuss Ghazghkull when we play this, because orcs do appear again. But like,
I'm like genuinely, did you plan this with the Eldar being the final mission and the other races all crop into it?
No, I think it was just opportunistic because, like, remember when we restarted the campaign, we didn't want to go that way.
Yeah, it's true. Because I when I've done in my like solo series, I always do a kind of like reflecting on the series during the end credits. I don't know if this game even has end credits, but this will almost.
I think it does.
This will almost give us the opportunity to do that.
Cool.
Anyway, have you got anything about the Eldar that you can welcome us back in with?
Let me have a wee look.
No rush. I mean, it's actually their turn, and I suspect they're either going to attack us here on the 6 or the undefended 10, whichever they think is the better target. But either way,
well, we'll see what they do.
Either way, it'd be nice to bring us back in with something. Also, I am drinking everyone's favourite drink that does not, unfortunately, yet sponsor this thing, but though I've only got half a shot. Right, so tonight looks really, really fucking bad if you are my recycling bin, because there's been a lot of bottles that have got like a shot or half a shot left in them where I'm like, right, I just want to get that bottle out of the way. So far from tonight, there's like 6 bottles in my recycling bin, but I swear they all only had like literally a few drops left in them.
Craft worlds. Craft worlds are colossal yet graceful vessels of living wraithbone and various psychoactive materials. These world ships were originally created as spacefaring arks by those ancient Eldar who foresaw the horrifying fate of their empire and sought to flee far enough to escape the hunger of she who thirsts with a U.
And with that, we are back, viewership. In the final push of the campaign, we are buzzed, we are bevved, we are ready to bring the hammer of the Emperor down on the perdiferous Eldar. I'm, of course, the Bard.
And I'm the Doctor. And I'm afraid they are going to make the first move. And from where they are, well, they've got a number of options. They could strike at our 6, where we're currently based. And hey, hope everyone's ready for another fight in the Demes Northlands. They could attack this 10. And they could actually attack this 6, which I believe is actually as reinforced as it's going to get. Quite frankly, I'm happy to auto-resolve that one if it comes to that, because I don't care. Let's see what they do.
Let's see what they do.
No, they're attacking us. Demes Northlands 2!
Oh, God!
Astartes Bugaloo! Let's go.
We have fought so much in this territory.
We know where they're going to be. There's 2 positions, and we've got a fucking shit.
So many.
We've got a fucking legion and a half stationed here in case of Eldar bullshit. So, and I can just reinforce everyone straight away because we have that like 1,000 extra requisition that we start with. I actually have to go to another page to reinforce everyone properly. That's wonderful.
Let's plow into the barracks. I think.
Yeah.
Like the armory, I should say. We can get upgrades from Marines as well.
Yeah, we can. Not hugely, actually. We need the monastery for most of them, actually.
Oh.
But I can also just get that. Oh, no, I can't, because power.
Your instructions.
I didn't even get to move my dreadnoughts.
Oh, no, they might be locked in. They might be too fat to fit through.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Really? Am I that stupid? Oh, move the chapel barracks, fuck it. Hopefully we won't need them in the first instance. There we go.
Nah, we should be okay.
It's annoying how much that's a thing. Like I mean, I get it that it's like you can't just do stupid maneuvers, but it's one of the things that, so, I've mentioned before, like Battle for Middle-earth, the Lord of the Rings one. That has a nice thing of like go into a formation, which like understands how heavy units and shit like that actually all function. I think they actually might be up to the right.
There's a really cool feature of the table, or a previous edition of Tabletop 40k, where like you could try to run guys over with your tanks, and like the people being run over had a choice. Either they could fall back to avoid being run over, or you got to make a single attack on the tank with one of the melee units in your squad. So but if you missed, like if the guy fluffed it, then he was run over. So like either like you could get a single space for you to see.
Can you throw a grenade into the exhaust pipe, basically?
Yeah, exactly. Or there's really cool moments where like if you had like a space marine with a thunder hammer, he got to take he got to take one swing with a Thunderhammer to see if he could wreck the tank or die.
So you're essentially just doing
so
fucking
cool.
like Matador with a tank.
That's exactly how it worked, and like I love that 40k is sufficient that like I believe that a Space Marine could stop a tank with a Thunderhammer.
And I believe that they'd try. Quite frankly.
Yeah. Half the time it really did pay off.
Yeah.
I used to love doing it.
But like the fact that a Star Team would absolutely be like, pulls pin out of grenade with teeth for the Emperor and throws it at the exhaust pipe, can absolutely buy that happening.
It's so emblematic of like the Astartes mentality. It's like I am physically capable of doing basically anything.
So I'm gonna fucking try.
I've got a grenade. This is embarrassing how quickly we're gonna smash them.
They've got 2 bases, which is horrifying in a fucking assault, but because I feel like you shouldn't be allowed to do that when you're attacking. But this is what I say in this game about how the AI legitimately just cheats.
It does, which is not ideal. But like we seem to be.
We've got
so
this
many
one,
Marines.
yeah.
We got some flamethrowers in there. Why? Because why the hell not?
You're right about the range on Thule's fucking teleporter being absurd, because he can just appear there.
I think it's a lot greater than the.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Terminus.
Right. Cool. That's half them gone, and then the other half. I mean, yeah. There. I feel like the second base is way less impressive than the first one. So, and we've got.
Presumably their honor guard was at the first base.
Yeah. I think this one's just then. Oh. Yeah. But I mean, yeah. This is the thing. When we're here with our own honor guard, and also we've got everyone who's requisitioned out. You see, we start with half a fucking chapter ready to roll.
I would talk more about the Eldar viewership, but like we're going to talk about them extensively when we do their stronghold
in like
mission. But
2 minutes or less about how long it takes to knock down this webway assembly.
Yeah. The Eldar, they're not my favourite faction, but I do kind of like them.
They're actually one of the very few models I owned. I don't know where it's gone, but I used to have a Falcon Grav tank kicking around.
They're like, I've never quite bought into the design aesthetic for the Eldar, but some people really dig it. I don't know if you were one of those people, Doctor?
No, Dragon was. He still has a decent chunk of Eldar kicking around. So me and the other gentleman, at least the Dragon and the Boy, never played 40k, but we all did a bit of model collecting and painting. So, and we all played the fucking shit out of Dawn of War, really. Which is like, obviously, you know the difference between, hey, I was like, oh, I want to play 40k. I'm going to buy, like, a Hive Tyrant and 1 squadron of Tyranid Gaunts. I'm going to spend a fuck ton on Citadel paints and get these ready to roll. And it's like, okay, well, 13-year-old Doctor, if you want to play 40k, you need 10 times this. Have you got 700 quid hanging around? So it wasn't the hobby for me. And at that stage, I was nowhere near the physical prowess needed to paint those models effectively.
Oh, like don't get me wrong. Like I've got several Horde armies for Warhammer Fantasy, which is like the fantasy equivalent of 40k, basically. So like I've got a box in my house that contains almost 300 skeletons.
I know this because you used 2 of them in our D&D thing, and then so as people notice if they watch D&D, we have little headshots of the characters for when they're in the initiative order, and I said, oh, can you get me a headshot of those skeletons, by the way? I haven't got it. And you were like, yeah, cool. And then you were like, I hate everything. I was like, why? I was like, because I need to find 2 specific skeletons in my box of hundreds of skeletons. You are not happy.
But that was like a project for a year. This was like, I had to paint almost 300 skeletons, and it took days of my life to get through.
I know people who do.
I have an army now that looks impressive and beautiful, and I love it, but like it was rough.
I know people who do
real rough
Blood
going.
Bowl, and that's just a lot of painting very similar.
Oh, we can play some Blood Bowl at some point. Anyway, sorry, we're getting off topic here, viewership. We're about to embark on our final assault of the campaign.
I didn't check that we literally lost no honor guard in that. We've actually done, like, considering that the Demes Northlands is our Vietnam, we've done surprisingly well.
We have.